Alright, let's actually read the thing. Instead of just yelling about everything, let's just read this. Prosecuting burning of the American flag by the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America is hereby ordered. Section 1, purpose. Our great American flag is the most sacred and blah 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 blah. Just saying that we love it and you shouldn't be burning it. And then it's like Section 2, the real thing that everyone wants to yell about that no one actually has looked at. Measures to combat desecration of the American flag. Hey, the Attorney General shall prioritize the enforcement to the fullest extent possible of our nation's criminal and civil laws against acts of American flag desecration that violate applicable content-neutral laws while causing harm unrelated to the expression consistent with the First Amendment. Alright, so what this means is if someone is desecrating the American flag, violating applicable criminal and civil laws that aren't to do with their express freedom of expression under the First Amendment, then we are going to go after you for that. I.e., this may include, but is not limited to, violent crimes, hate crimes, illegal discrimination against American citizens, or other violations of American civil rights, and crimes against property and the peace, as well as conspiracies and attempts to violate and aiding and abetting others to violate such laws. In cases where the Department of Justice or other executive departments or agencies determines that an instance of American flag desecration may violate an applicable state or local law, such as open burning restrictions, disorderly conduct laws, or destruction of property laws, the agency shall refer to the matter to the appropriate state and local authorities for potential action. And then, to maximize extent permitted by the Constitution General, vigorously prosecute those who violate our laws in ways that involve desecration of the American flag, and may pursue litigation to clarify the scope of the First Amendment exceptions in this area. At the end of the day, yes, your First Amendment protects you from burning a flag, and this acknowledges that in several areas. But underlying the fact, this is someone who believes strongly our American flag is the most sacred and cherished symbol in the United States, and wherever its freedoms and identities and all that blah blah blah. So, because of that, I value people and the protection of the flag to not be desecrated for people who are going to do crimes in this manner, right? It says as long as it's, within the framework of the not harming your First Amendment right to free speech, as long as you're just committing crimes and using your free speech to try to cover that up, we're going to still catch you on the crimes. But everyone's caught up on his words in the speech, which, to be fair, are pretty gross because they don't actually understand anything of the First Amendment, and they just say, if you burn flag, you go jail for 1 year, ha ha ha. Well, no, because the freedom of speech, you can still legally burn a flag, because of the First Amendment. It's just if you do it in a way of this, that you could be punished by the law. But the nuance isn't there whenever the man speaks, and I'm gonna say, he didn't write this himself. Someone wrote this for him. He doesn't have the literacy, the sentence writing structure to write this, or at least not format it. He might have yapped to someone who made this for him, but no way he added all these with due regards for the laws, rules, and regulations of the First Amendment and care for things only for the criminal stuff. Yeah, but still. Objectively speaking, the way of going about this by the president, not the best. Legally and lawfully speaking, I think it looks to tread on fine grounds and not harm people's rights, because it actually has a section that says you need to, it has to be consistent with the First Amendment. So overall, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. He probably just shouldn't have said the things that he said, but he always says the things that he's going to say, so whatever at this point. But actually going along and having this out here that actually says stuff that it's like, hey, we're not going to violate your First Amendment right, like, that's pretty good. But everyone's just going to throw a hullabaloo because they didn't read this and they just watched what he said and always want to throw fits. It is what it is.